Okay, so as I was saying, that the program focus will be more on how we present our points, whatever we know, right? Because in the UPSC, you must have got this idea that after a certain level, there will be the limitation on writing the perfect answer. You might know around 12 to 15 questions, but those at the other 5 questions, we will be having the limited knowledge. So how to write an answer with limited knowledge, that can be learned if we know how to present our point. That's the first thing. Second thing is that how to get that extra 2-3 point which we can generate if we know the pattern of the question, or if we know certain template, certain framework which can help us to generate more point if the question demand is such. That's the second thing. And the third thing is the presentation of our existing point in a proper flow and in dimensions. Our point should not be scattered. It should be well prioritized and well structured. So to that also we will try to achieve here. These are the 3 things. The fourth thing is a certain level of standardization we will try to make. Means in terms of introduction, what formulas or what templates we can use to write introduction on certain type of questions. Okay. Similarly, what kind of conclusion we can write in certain type of questions. If we know the intro and conclusion, for example, in art and culture, you will realize what kind of intro and conclusion can be written in art and culture type of question. You will be able to save your time in such kind of question. Along with that, you will be able to write a better answer compared to the others if you have well prepared introduction and conclusion if you are having. So that will be the intro and conclusion part. The fifth thing we will try to include here is about the value addition. Value addition in terms of maps, graphs, as well as based on the subject, diagrams, these things, committee names, these things also, like the keywords also, will be the part of it. So we will try to provide whatever required to make an answer best answer. Okay, so that will these are the 5 things will be included. Now the approach of the class will be, as you have observed in the sessions, approach of the class will be, it's the name we are giving is a workshop. That means it won't be just a lecture. It will be the writing session. We won't ask you to come and sit in the right and then the evaluation will be there. The writing of answers will be the part of the session. And that is the uniqueness of this program. Because you will be writing here, you will be improving here, you will be learning here only. So this whole thing will be learned. And definitely after that, you have to practice PYQs. Based on whatever you have, that part you have to do. Okay, so that is going to be the the structure of this particular sessions, and this is all 50 days program. And subject wise, we will cover one by one in this 50 days. Okay, so the first thing what we are going to do is that we will write our answers based on whatever understanding of writing a particular answer we are having. If you have attended the previous session of art and culture or any session, you must have got an idea also, like the how to write. And over the period, as you will learn, you will observe that you yourself will able to generate the framework. Because here we are not giving kind of the ready-made thing to you. We are generating here. So you are learning how to generate the dimensions based on the questions. Right? So that learning also we are trying to give. We are not like we pre-prepared bringing the template showing you have to use this dimension and write it. We are discussing on how to generate that point. What is the thought behind it? What is the conceptual basis why that dimension should be there in that particular question? Okay. So you will observe that in 1 or 2 weeks only. 1 week only, I think. After a certain level, you will be able to generate your own dimensions. Okay, but there are certain areas where you will get some unique kind of dimensions also based on the questions, right? So that we will provide. But we will try to generate these templates based on the discussion, not like the giving just the template. Okay. Any other expectation from your side based on the sessions we had previously, and anything else you want to add, whatever overview I gave apart from that? So this is the first paper. So all we have kept for this week 10 marker, because 15 marker becomes little difficult as we become used to it for this week of writing. Then we include the 15 marker also. Intentionally we have kept 10 markers so that we have to write less and focus more on learning. Okay, so that's why we have kept all 10 marker. So what we will do is that we will attempt the first two questions first. Okay, we all will write and try to generate points. Try to give your whatever you have. Okay, then we will see that the what can be improved and how this can be written in a different way. Okay, so let's write the first two questions. We're keeping 18 minutes. Within 18 minutes, we have to write. So I saw your answers. Now, every answer, including mine also, have certain scope of improvement. So we need to focus. We need to focus on those aspects like where we can improve. But before that, let's again analyze those questions, like what UPSC is asking on this particular topic. That analysis is very important. See, these two questions were from our test series, that Patham. But you see that the pattern of the questions are similar only. We are following the UPSC pattern only to create the questions. This is art and culture. We'll go from back side. That is from 2025. That 25 questions were easy. That especially they asked on Indus Valley civilization. 2024 question. Though the great Cholas are no more, yet their name is still remembered with great pride because of their highest achievement in the domain of art and culture. Okay. So the question is on Chola. They are saying that they're still basically very, very important. That's a pride and this thing. Because, very important, because their contribution in art and architecture. Okay. And if you see the syllabus of UPSC, especially on this art and culture, they have used the three words there. And that way, that three word becomes important. Indian culture will cover the salient aspect of art forms, literature and architecture from ancient to modern times. Okay. So three words they are given: art forms, literature and architecture. And if you see the previous year questions of UPSC, you will find that these three words, the questions are revolving around these three words. There might be some deviations from that, but most of the time the questions are around these three. Like that 2024 question, that's nothing but same only. That is yes, architecture, art and architecture, art forms and architecture. 2024, another question: estimate the contribution of Pallava of Kanchi for the development of art and literature. Basically, all three words UPSC covered in 2024 questions: art, art forms, architecture, literature. But what they are changing is the period or the king. Okay, so this is the one type of question they are asking, where they are emphasizing on one particular kingdom, and they are asking why that period was significant in terms of art or architecture, art or literature, or only literature, only architecture, only art form, or particular art form. For example, they can give why the Gupta period was very important from the scientific advancement they can give, or they can give for the music, for the literature. Like that question they are asking. Okay. Similarly, if you see the other questions also, see this. What were the major technological changes introduced during the Sultanate period? They came to the medieval India. Because in the syllabus, what time did they have mentioned only ancient India? No, ancient to modern. So that means they can include the medieval period also. So here, the Sultanate, they have asked, how did those technological changes influence the Indian society? Indian society, the question you have written, the first question, that is the folk music, it is asking two aspects. One is the how it is influencing culture, how it is influencing social life, basically the society. And in some question you will find that the questions are on history, how it is important from the history point of view. Yes. Here also, third question, see, Chola architecture represents the highest watermark in the evolution of temple architecture. Here they specified the temple architecture. Okay. So with the analysis, what we found is that there is another one which is important here to emphasize is that there are some specific questions also, but the numbers are less. Like they have mentioned, particularly discuss the Tandava dance as recorded in the earlier Indian inscription. Here they have not asked us link this with the society, link this with the history, link this with the culture. But they have asked the discuss. That means we can bring all this aspect. Here they open the question. Means you can talk about Tandava dance in varied form. How Tandava dance was important from cultural point of view. How Tandava dance was important from the society point of view, from the religion point of view. That discussion you can make. But there will be some deviations because we are trying to derive a pattern. And pattern cannot be exactly. There will be some deviation. Please accept that. Okay. So let's try to again bring that pattern here. Art and culture. Okay. Just simplify first in your notes. Simplify the syllabus. Keep this in your mind. What are there in the syllabus? In the syllabus, 3 words are there. One is art form. Second, what it is? What it is? Architecture. And third, literature. Keep this in your notes, and this will be between ancient, this can be ancient India, this can be medieval India, or this can be modern India. In this 3 period, we have to cover our syllabus whenever you are studying this art and culture. 3 things has to be the priority. Okay. Now, this is the syllabus. Based on this, let's analyze the PYQ analysis. Based on the previous year questions analysis, what we identified here is that there are 2 types of questions UPSC is asking. The first type, which we call it as the type 1 question. Type 1 question. Here also 2 variants are there. Some variants are there. Here 1.1 is that they are giving one period, that is the time period, like the Pallava, or they are asking us linking with any kingdom, or they are asking any art, like the folk music was a particular art. They are linking them, this particular thing, asking us to link with the history of that period, how this period art was important for the history, to know the ancient history, to know the Pallava's time, to know the Chola's time, how art is helping us to know that. That's the first thing. Same they are asking either their history, they are specifying like the social life. They are saying the social life or their lifestyle. How this art is helping us to know about their social life. Okay, so linking the art, whether it is architecture, literature, art form, with the history, social life, or third type, they can ask us to link with the present context. Basically, how it is relevant in the present time. So they can ask us to link with the history, social life, or the present. The next thing here is what are the significance of art and culture. Basically, they will give one period like the Chola period, how it is important from art and culture point of view, right? That's the common question. Like why the Gupta period is called as the golden period. If it is saying the golden period, that means it is historically also important, socially also important, art and culture point of view also important, because it's saying the period, talking about the period. But if it is saying that why the Gupta period is called as the golden period of Indian culture, Indian art and culture, then you will write the Gupta period, their importance in art and culture. Temple, sculpture, painting, music, dance, literature, these all things you bring. But since in the question they ask about the overall period, you have to bring the history, society, polity, economy also. That means any period, if we bring these three aspects, including the present, which we bring in the conclusion, how and what way we can learn from the history of Pallavas or Guptas in the present context, that we give in the conclusion. Clear? This is the first type. You can see the PYQ, you will find the same pattern of question UPSC is asking. First thing. The second thing here we have to understand is that second type is that the second variant here is they are giving the art and culture and asking us to give their significance features. They are asking us to feature, or they are asking us to why significant. Why that art and culture are significant. Here art and culture again will be three. First is art form, second architecture, and third literature. They are giving this and asking us how it is significant, what are the features. These are the most of the questions are coming in these two type only. The second type which I have mentioned is the some unique questions. Like sometimes they ask like the Tandava question. Sometimes they can ask very specific questions. So that type 2 we cannot prepare here. I mean you cannot prepare the template for type 2. That second is the type 2. But these questions are very small, very few. These are the specific questions. As you saw in 2024, in 2024, both the questions were from the type 1 only. And we see that the most of the questions are type 1. Exceptionally, sometime UPSC is asking question from type 2. But most of them are type 1. Now, since we have the well-analyzed pattern of UPSC PYQ, this is called as the analysis of PYQ, which everybody asks us to ask, whether it is topper or teachers, they will say, analyze the PYQ before your preparation. So this is the activity we are doing. We analyze the PYQ and based on that, we identify a pattern of the question, and now not only it will help you to write good answers, but also it will help you in preparing the art and culture subject for your preparation. Because now you clearly know what type of question UPSC is asking. Right? So this is the PYQ analysis we made for this particular subject. So we are clear with the syllabus what UPSC is giving for art and culture. we are clear with the PYQ. UPSC is asking what type of pattern of question they are asking. Now the third step we will enter by understanding the PYQ. What kind of pattern or framework we can create for ourselves, so that tomorrow if the question is asked in this pattern, we will be able to write that in a proper structure with more number of points and with saving the time to write. And that is our third step of this class, that is framework development. Framework. The first framework will be on the type of question where they are giving a particular art or culture or during a period, and that is the first one, 1.1, and they are asking us to link with the history or society or present or the art. Now for this, what you need is that, first thing you need is that, for example, here what they can give is that, for example, Chola period they can ask, or they can give the art and culture for they can give the temple architecture of Guptas. What are their historical or the social significance? Like that question will be there. Now, how we can create the template here? See, if they ask, like suppose the Chola temple, how it is important from history point of view. If they're asking from the historical significance, history dimension, how we will divide history, we have to think that. Now, if we have to give the significance for the history, in what dimension we can present the history? You must have got the answer here. We can present the history. The first significant thing comes. First significance is the political. You have to write the first point as the political history. Why? You know that the politics is the something which determine the other aspect. Suppose the political history shows that it was the Islamic ruler during the Sultanate. According to that political system, the art and culture, society, education, economy will be determined. So this is the prioritization of the point. You are going to write the political aspect, the first point. If they are asking about the history, so here you can give the political, like was it monarchy? Within that also will create the dimension, was it monarchy? Because in some part of history we find which kind of political system? Any other type of political system do we find in the history? Ancient history? Villages, like local government. Sabha Samiti, do we find in the Vedic? Do you find the republican type of polity? The kingdom from which the Gautam Buddha belonged was a republic, isn't it? So there are there monarchy or republic? Are there any local body? Especially this Chola Empire is very popular for local bodies. Uttamam Merur, some inscription is there, na? Which signifies about the local body. The point is, there might be some local body, that is also the part of the political. This shows the decentralized form of political system. So you can talk about, most of them are monarchy only. Local bodies, some places very important. You can mention that, right? So this is the political system, and then you can write about the administrative division. You must have read this like the at the top some province, Vaishya, then the village, something hierarchy they create now. You remember some question UPSC also asked in prelims on that uh, in the southern region there is Nadu, Ur, some division is there. That is the administrative division. Who will be the leader of the Uparika, some Gramani or something is there, right? So the point is those which you learn will create the administrative system. Like in Akbar time, they have the Mansabdari system. You must have heard that Mansabdari system or some system they are having. Ashtapradhan is in Maratha. Navaratna is in Akbar also, as well as the Vikramaditya in Gupta period. Those are the administrative system. Those things, wherever you get any point, if they ask tomorrow, particularly the political history, then this will help you to create dimension. Getting? So the political history, what is the monarchy, how the successor used to be decided based on the their son will become or any particular law is there. So those all things will create the political history. The second thing comes is the social history. Social history. This is the most important aspect, social. How the social history, how we can divide the society, how we can classify society, what way you can present a particular society. Say, huh? Class, yes. But the first thing, okay, class is one, good point. That is the class is one. Let's bring one. Any other? Women condition, very good. Gender aspect. Third, division of what? Excellent. Caste. Then occupation. Can we bring that in economy? Occupation also is a part of society only, but let's bring that in the economy. Like the what is their occupation? Agriculture, industrialization, other thing. Religion. Religion. Very good. Then any other? Guilds is also economic organization. Like they form a guild in order to promote the trade. Any other? Is education a part of society? Social aspect? Yes or no? Yes, right? Education we study in the Indian society now. Social justice. Education. Can we include the moral values? What is the morality of the society? Does it determine the social life? Morality means you are getting like the word principle. Is there respect for elders? Is there equality among the women or the between men and women? Social values, right? So we can say that the values, ethical values. Now here, see, don't write this point. I have written this set. Why? You know, here you not only create this dimension, but also the prioritization among this also important. That also I mentioned you. How you are prioritizing the points shows your personality, your thinking. See, when you go to your district as a district collector, many issues are there. Poverty is there. Education issues are there, health issues are there, as well as the roads are damaged, as well as there is a lack of sports infrastructure is also issues are there. So many issues are there. Will you be having that much capacity to work on everything with the equal amount of efforts? There you have to prioritize. Whether you are prioritizing education or whether you are prioritizing the livelihood, you have to prioritize. And remember, in UPSC also, when you write the 10 points, the examiner is not going to read all 10 points. It's going to be difficult. But your marks, they will determine based on what your first 3 points. So the prioritization of points is very important. Here also, what do you think, which is the most determining aspect of society among the six dimensions you have given? Huh?
Religion.
Religion or class? See, exactly we don't have the quantitative measure to which is the best, right? But what do you think overall, qualitatively? It can, class. Any other thinking about it?
Caste.
Caste is more determining. Any other viewpoint?
Culture, very important because it comes technically religion also. Because they are different culture and also at that time of history. So where
culture will provide as the cultural history separately. Definitely, your point is correct. If they have not asked particularly the culture is the part of society only. But since here we are going to create another dimension on art and culture, we are not putting that. But if the question is such that which is asking only about the social life, we will add the culture. Because culture creates our society. Yeah? How we dance, how we enjoy the festivals and those all things. Right? So that will create in the culture. So you're saying that the class is very important. Yes, class is important. But do you think like the, how you will rate this point? Religion. If you see the social life, now also, or go to the history, religion is the most determining factor in the society. Now also, there are conflicts over the religion, less over the class. Are poor are protesting against the rich? Very less. See the today's society. Are there riots because of the religion? Yes. If any religious symbol is damaged by other religion, then there will be the protest. That point of time also, religion played a key role in determining the art also. Stupas, religious. Temples, religious. Similarly, education, religious education. Whether it is your Islamic or Hindu or the Buddhist, they are religious educational institutions. Values are derived from the religion. Dharma, karma, these all values are getting derived. Caste origin is what? Varna system. Varna system origin is what? Religion. Is it present in the other religion? Yes. But it is, origin is religion. Women condition is being justified based on what? Religion. Right? Then class. Class is, yes, class and religion you can say. Your point is not wrong. Again, I'm saying it is not a quantitative way, but understanding. So let's keep this religion as the first point. This is friends, the prioritization point. This dimension only, but which point you are going to write first? So based on our discussion, we found that religion, then class. Then you can bring the other aspect like the education. You can bring, let's say, the caste. Then women condition. Then social values. 6 dimension we can create here. Getting? Okay. Let's go to the next aspect. With the society, near the society, we should also include the third aspect, that is the art and culture. This is very important. Actually, this is the sub part, as he mentioned also rightly, Badri has mentioned that this is the part of only society only. But since we are studying under the art and culture, we are creating another dimension. So art and culture also help us to determine this. Now, art and culture, within this, what things comes? Within this, we know that the culture, religion is also part of culture. Along with that, we can determine, let's divide this again into, we will classify this separately under the art and culture part, because this is very important aspect. So let's keep it separately. We will divide into, we have the second aspect now, art and culture. within the classification. There we will include it. Okay. The next aspect is, fourth is economic history. Within this, first you have to bring is then 3 sectors of economy. 3 sectors of economy: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. Here in primary sector, bring agriculture, bring mining also. There were mining for coal. It started. They were mining. Without mining, how the Harappan people will make those bronze toys and bronze the sculptures? They have to mine copper, right? So mining was there. Open cast mining, right? So those 2 comes under the primary. Here you can bring the livestock also. If you want to more dimension, here you can bring the livestock, fisheries, forestry, right? In the secondary sector, bring the manufacturing, metallurgy, trade, weaving, textile. Textile was a major secondary industry at that point of time. Shipbuilding was another major secondary sector in India. So those aspects you can bring. In tertiary sector, you can bring about the services. Like the small services were there. Mostly the services were like the educational services, health services. They are local health services, huh? Physician, local physician. Also there were like the services of priest. That was also service. So that services you can bring. The second aspect is the connectivity. In modern India, that railways and other thing come. But here the connectivity through roads like the Grand Trunk Road. Have you heard about it? Suri-Med, Grand Trunk Road. Then there were waterways, ports. So those aspects you can bring in the connectivity part. Then the monetary policy. Especially the coin system. Loans, like the Takavi loans. In the Mughal period, being provided to the farmers. Then the organizations, economic organizations, like he mentioned what? Guilds, Srenis. This you should bring, yeah. This is very important. This is very important part. I mean, this one, guilds. This keyword please bring. Okay, that's very important from the economic dimension. Economic. Yeah, very excellent point. That's the point. Please bring. Let's. Taxation. Yes. Land revenue, taxation, this all thing, like there were land revenue system. In the political aspect, you can bring that an administrative judicial system and the judicial system also you can bring.
There is no history evidence that the judicial system is derived from that.
Yes, sir. That was the type. Basically, you are telling about history only, na? There was no such system. Can you write that point there? Yes, na. Basically, you are telling them that in that particular time there was no organized judicial system. The king was the fountain of judiciary. So lack of codification of the judiciary was there. More religious documents were used to determine the justice. Basically, it's what? History only, na? right? So lack of organized judicial system is also a feature of that history. But later on it was codified. But the codification like Manu document of Hindu codes, Sharia code, these things are there. So use religious things. So those aspects. Let's broaden our mind now. No issue. How many points? We can't write every point. That we'll learn. That's why we are doing this answer writing also. Na? How many points we can write. But at least we should know those dimensions. So that if in the question came, at least one aspect, maybe that's a very unique aspect, the taxation. I never wrote this. Now I learned from you only. Similarly, that from that point, my mind went to the judicial system can be written in the political system. Okay, so good thinking. Yeah. So these are the 5 aspects from the economic point of view. Then the last one here is the geographical, which will dimension, 5th dimension. Political, social, art and culture, economic, and 5th is geographic. Na? Let's write geography. Geographical history. Here you have to write about trade routes. Routes, that is the geography. There are passes. Then the role of mountains, hills, role of rivers, how the rivers determine the relations, sea route. Here trade routes can be the sea route and other. Then land and fertility. Especially the Doabs, many wars happened because to capture the Raichur Doab, and then there was tripartite struggle between the Rashtrakutas, I think. Rashtrakuta? No, Gurjar Pratiharas, Pala, Rashtrakutas. 3. Tripartite struggle was there, na? Kannauj, to capture the Kannauj triangle, it is known as. So those aspects we can bring in the geographical history point of view also. We can bring here the minerals, forest resources. One question was there. Why there was multiple fight in the Panipat? Basically, they are asking the geographical feature of Panipat. Isn't it? So, it was basically well-connected route. It was plain, not hilly, good for fighting. Right? And around that, there were the artisans, minerals were available. Then connectivity with Delhi was good. So, they were asking indirectly from the geographical aspect of Panipat. Okay. So, this is the 5-dimension broadest. We don't have to bring the all aspect in our answer, not required. But at least we should know the every aspect so that if specifically UPSC asked, give the political significance of this particular kingdom, you have the dimension. If they ask about geographical factors, you have the dimension. Economic, you have. Social, you have. Art and culture, now we will create. So let's move to the next aspect, the second aspect, that is within that only art and culture. So here what we create again, kingdom or period. I said like the art and culture is important. That's why I'm creating the different one here. Art and culture. Basically, they ask what are the art and cultural significance of this period. This year they ask Indus Valley civilization, give the architectural features. So similarly, they can ask. Now, how you will divide this? First, we divide as art forms. Again, this art form can be divided as first is sculpture. Okay, more visible. Second, painting. Third, music. Fourth, dance. Fifth, no, I mean art forms, sculptures, painting, music, dance. Then they have puppetry, martial art, Any other art forms? Here, let's classify a little bit more here. Sculptures, remember, there are different sculpture groups also. 3 schools, you know, na? Sculptures. One is Gandhara school. Please keep this in mind. Sarnath, Amravati, Mathura school is also there. Okay, so these are the schools of sculptures. Okay, you mentioned the keywords. Then paintings, you have the miniature painting, you have mural painting. Okay, the mural also have the variations like the fresco, tempera. Okay, those are keywords. Whenever you write this paintings sculpture point, you can use those keywords. Jewelry making, bead making, jewelry making, yes, those are also there. You can write as other, but not very significant. Other. Within this, one more is there. That's theater. Theater. That's very important. Theater, drama. Like the Bharat Muni's Natya Sastra. That is mostly on the theater. Na? That's very important. That right. And other like he made like the bead making. Even he has written that one point, numismatic. That is coins. That also you can bring. Coins. Theater. Bead making, jewelry making. These are also there. Like the embroidery also. Pottery. This is very important. 10th. Pottery. Direct question is also there on pottery. Pottery also have the type. Black ware, red, grey ware, plain pottery. That also if you want you can mention there. Plain pottery. Grey ware pottery. Red, black ware pottery. Red, black ware pottery. So 10 is enough. So many points you can bring here. And some extra, some unique feature will be there somewhere. But these are most common. Okay. So this is the first is the art forms. Second is architecture. Architecture also have the classification. Temple. Here also Nagara and Dravida major. Then you have the Veshara also, the intermediate. Then Nagara also you can divide Khajuraho school, Odisha school, different. But these 3 classification is enough. Then you have the mosque, stupas. Buddhist stupas. You also have rock cut architecture. Like Chaitya, Vihara, temples also, rock cut temples. Kailas Natha temple. Then palaces like Kumrahar, Chandragupta Maurya palace, their houses basically. Then you have the irrigation infrastructure, irrigation architecture, like water harvesting infrastructures, drainage. Then you have city planning. Then you have Mughal architectures, minar, tombs, more mosque. Then Gardens. Similarly, Delhi Sultanate also. Domes are also there. Third is literature. Literature. Remember, either there are religious you will find most common religious literatures like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Manusmriti, religious. There are secular also like love stories, poems. Okay, secular also. Then there are classical Sanskrit, literatures like Meghdootam. There are local language, folk literatures. See, if they ask the question on literature, it becomes very difficult. But if you know this classification, it becomes easy because every aspect you can write one point. Every period, whether it is Gupta period, if they ask like Gupta period literature, we know there are religious literatures. We know there are secular literatures like Meghdootam. Manu's literature is religious. This point out we know two features: classical Sanskrit, some are Sanskrit. Definitely there will be some folk literature like the Pali language, written most of the Jatak stories of Buddhism written in the local languages. Right? There are some educational literature, isn't it? Like Surya Siddhantika by Aryabhattyam. These are the educational literature. So Siddhanta, these all things. We can classify 5 points we can bring for religion also. Philosophical, yes. Like example, Tolkappiyam. He wrote that book, na? That is more of a moral code. Philosophies are there. Okay, so that way you can classify the literature. A question is coming on literature. See, at least bring this point. You might not know the example, but at least you will write the dimensions, huh? You won't leave. Okay, yeah. So these are the 5 dimensions, and last is the culture. Fourth is culture. First, in the culture, first thing comes is the religion. See, if you have already written in the social, no need to write here. But if they particularly ask on the art and culture only, you have to prioritize the religion. Second, festivals. Third, food. Fourth, clothing. Fifth, music. Dance. Traditions and rituals like marriage. Huh? Markets. Market will keep in the economy.
Market in the sense, there is a market running from the Buddha's and there is a market. I don't know
Market, economic market only you're saying, na? Where the transaction of goods and services are taking place, isn't it?
The market is there. There is name of the trade, right?
Trade. So better to keep in economic, not in culture. Okay. So these are the features. I mean the classification of art and culture. All if they ask like the 4 dimension, you have to write. We have to bring. If they said the art and culture, bring this all aspect. Okay. If they ask particularly art forms, bring this dimension. If they ask for architecture, wherever relevant, bring these dimensions. If they ask for literature, you can create this 6 dimension. If they ask for culture, you can bring this dimension. That way you can generate points. And a specific example, when you are preparing art and culture, try to search for specific examples in this dimension. If you are not able to do that, just type in ChatGPT and ask give examples for this. It will give you. Okay, so this way you can create the points for art and culture. And last thing is that sometimes they ask about features of art, architecture or literature. Features. What are the key features of architecture, they will ask, of Pallava architecture, Gupta architecture. Here what we have to do is that we need to give the significant feature, characteristics of that art or architecture. Here, as I told earlier also, how you determine what is the feature of this building. What you will say? The color, the material used, the shape, the size. That is the feature of that architecture. No? So there also, what are the material used? Sometimes you see the red sandstone, white marble, so different material. In the Indus Valley, they have the burnt bricks, mortar, many things they use, right? So like this, material used. Second is the massiveness of the architecture or whatever you're writing. Third, technique used. Fourth, theme of the art or architecture. Theme. What was it? Religious, secular, love story? Was it on nature? What was the theme? What was the patronage? Was the patronage ruler patronage or local patronage of any art or culture? Then, what was the geographical reach? Was it really limited to North India or was it across India? Then, what are the influence, outside influence? Most of the, for example, sculpture, Gandhara, if they ask us to write the Gandhara style feature, is there outside influence in Gandhara style? Yes, Indo-Greek. That's why we call it Indo-Greek. Greek's influence is there. Similarly, Rajputana architecture, if they ask, there is the Mughal influence in the Rajput. Similarly, in the Mughal architecture, there is the influence of Bangla, Rajputana, even the South India temple architecture. Most of the architecture art form you will find there is influence of the outside, isn't it? So that point also you can create as one of the feature of that particular. Then certain creativity, some keyword we write, creativity or the innovation of artist. Okay, so these are the different aspects you can use. Features of art, architecture, accordingly you can write. Clear? So if they ask like the dance form, give this, it's Bharatnatyam, give feature. You don't know anything. At least you know the place of Bharatnatyam. So what you can, let's say you know that it is related to Tamil Nadu, South region. So what you will write, the material is no point, massiveness no point. Technique, you say that there is a technique is that the movement of hand, facial expressions, the leg, there is a rhythm in that which symbolizes some message, right? That's the technique. Theme, religious theme. Then patronage, yes, rulers were patronizing and it was the important in Devadasi system. Then you can mention some Pallava, Chola, king names. Then geographical reach, mostly in South India, but also have influence in the Southeast Asia as well as the North India. Outside influence, there is very little influence, but in the modern times, we can observe some influence. Then creativity of artists, yes, there are innovations. If you know certain artists in the Bharatnatyam, you can mention them. Created point without knowing anything about Bharatnatyam except the place. Getting? Suppose they are the puppetry of Bomma or some Ravan Chaya, something. So what you need to know is that which place it belongs. You can use the dimensions to create the point. You won't leave that point thinking that I have not studied Bharatanatyam. How I can write it? Getting? Now, let's go to the questions we have written to compare your answer, and then we'll write another answer. See, this is the first question. On the folk music, open your answer. Now check. Let's first understand the introduction. That part I have not mentioned. Let me give you the brief of introduction writing also. Intro writing. See, in art and culture questions, if they are asking about the kingdom or period, so what you have to mention in the introduction is, first thing is about the timeline you have to give. Second, place. This is nothing but the period. Let me get it. This is, you have to give the period. Then you have to give the place where it was. Third is the personality. Who was the significant personality in that period, or the founder of that kingdom? Three things should be there in your introduction. Clear? If they ask about the kingdom or period, if they ask about art or culture, you have to give its origin. Or if you're not able to give the origin, give the significance of that architecture or art or anything in a attractive sentence. Okay, this is the introduction you have to write. Most commonly you will use this. Suppose they ask, example, if they ask about theatre. So what you can start, origin of theatre in India is Bharatnatyam. Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Even the music, origin of music is Samaveda chants, Vedic chants. Samaveda origin is there, right? Similarly, temple architecture they ask, origin is Gupta period, initial temple, right? So origin you can give. Getting origin. Suppose rock cut architecture, Bhimbetka, that prehistoric, it originated in that period. Getting? So that way you can start if they ask about art or culture. Next, if they now comes the conclusion. How to conclude? The first way of concluding is give the constitutional basis. There are two articles. One is Article 49, which talks about the preservation and conservation of art and culture, isn't it? Yes. Second is Article 51A(f). The fundamental duty of the citizens to preserve the heritage of India. That also you can mention in the conclusion. The second way of going the global relevance. How you can give the global relevance? UNESCO. Either the World Heritage Site or intangible cultural heritage. Creating cities, they have certain initiatives. Like the Chola temples are recognized as the World Heritage Site, signifies its global recognition, global significance. Conclusion. Okay. Third type can be the schemes. Like there are schemes like Prasad scheme, adopt a heritage scheme. What you can say is that such initiative can help in preserving the architecture of art, right? Implementation of some scheme. Lastly, you can give some suggestion also, But before that, this is important. Present relevance. This also you can use present relevance, considering the importance. And one more is the quote. I'll give you some quotes. Like I'm giving example of one quote I generally write. Study the past if you would define the future. Confucius said. So what he said? Study the past if you would define the future. Any history question, this quote fits best. Any history question. Save it to use in any question. Okay? Most of the time we use the Constitution, UNESCO, or this quote. Clear? So the intro writing, body writing, dimension generation, conclusion. Now the value addition in the history. Last is the value addition. How to make the value addition? The first thing we do is the map. The place I mentioned, the 3 dimension, period, place, personality. Place we will mention on the map. To show the map of that region. So small map we can make in the side. Small map we will make. For example, Gupta period. Just highlight this region. This was the Gupta period. Mention some important places like the Mathura. Just 2, 3. Avanti, Patliputra. Like this. Done. 2, 3. If you are able to mention the capital, good. If you are able to mention the port, that's also good. Tamralipti, Bharuch, something. Okay. Second important value addition in the art and culture is mentioning about the king name. Third, examples. Fourth is diagram. Like you make the stupa. I have like this, something like this. You create it like this. Within 15 seconds, I can make the stupa diagram. Okay, some toranas also there. Here you can make like this. This is torana. Name. Getting simple. I mean, and you should know like the temple architecture. If you are making, let's say, the Indian North Indian temple, like this, and just this is Garbhagriha, this is the platform, this is Mandapa, this Kalyan Mandapa, this Ardha Mandapa, and those all things. This is your Sikhar, and then Garbhagriha. Okay, so like this, small, like the I made this diagram this year. This is the lower city, this is Citadel, Indus Valley. Small diagram. If they ask like the rock cut, paintings, something like this they are carrying. You getting the animal? They made like this only, na? So tail also. So rock cut temple. You make a box. So one is hunting. This is animal. So the diagrams make the value addition. Then schemes. If you are able to mention, this is the 5 dimension we can use for the value addition. Okay. Now let's see in my answers how I have written. See, the first question was on folk music. I started with music. Folk music provides rhythm of grassroots. Grassroots means the local people. By depicting there the life in the form of artistic representation. So keywords are there, sir, that you have to learn from my answers. How I am creating the lines, keywords, you have to learn. Because I saw your answers, keywords are missing. Okay, so that you can learn. No, don't worry. I have to give the keywords also. I prepared that also. See here, folk music is a source of entertainment. That part has been missed by you. You have written. That's a good one. You should not miss this part. Like the first line itself says that folk music in India is not merely a source of entertainment. First you say that it's a source of entertainment, but not only source of entertainment. So that's the first thing. See here, small diagram, map, showing the important Garba, Teej, Geet, something. 4. The value addition which was missing here. Then next. Is it difficult? No, right? We can make it, right? Just that we don't know how to make or whether to make or not. Now you got it? This way it can be made. That is the beauty of writing with you. This you can't learn from the model answer if I give you also. In the model answer, you won't find this now. And how much space should be taken? See, it's almost around a half or you 1/3. Small map. And naming of it. Capsule. Learn. So 2-point I gave. Part of celebrations like victory, social gathering like peace song, marriage song, Bihar, like that. Then it also, however, it also provides not only entertainment, also provides reflection of cultural identity. See the subheading how I'm making. It should be the language of the question. Okay? Then only the examiner will understand. The religious identity keyword. It provides religious identity because it says the cultural identity. I am using the word identity. Look at this. Getting? So the examiner will know, yes, student is writing as per the demand of the question. This is the point. The topper will get the marks and you won't get the marks. Same point you will also write. But the kind of keyword the topper will frame will be different than how you will frame. It will more specific. Less word, more specific. Simple example, Pandwani in Mahabharata, in Hinduism, Buddhism, chants, Jatak tells. Religious identity clearly proved. Next, see, social ceremonies, ritualistic song, dance, linkage. Simple points only, Garba and those things. Folk music reflecting social life. See, agrarian society, like Pongal songs, women role in society, entertainment, education. You see the social life, social dimension, education, women are coming from the framework only. Getting? Small line, two line and more points. At the end, see, Article 49, mandates, sounds of soil are preserved. Some keyword. So, is it clear? Are you able to learn what I am trying to show? Yes or no? Yes, right? See how it's visible. Okay, small 3-line introduction, proper boxing of the subheading, map is given, small point with example. See, the points are clearly visible, spaces are maintained. Then Article 49 is being highlighted, underlined. So this way I want every one of you to write. And that is the motto of this program. Yes.
So here, statement here, states, right? It is also reflection of cultural identity and social life. This is a statement.
Yes.
In this.
Yes.
And he said is the directive is discuss.
So
discuss means I thought that there is a positive, negative sides of the discussion.
Yes, yes.
I wrote like this.
Okay.
It's a point of time. But some questions needs only this directive to answer on that basis. Like I wrote in environment ecology.
See, first of all, it has not asked about the features.
Okay.
See, what it is saying is that discuss means you have to give the points for this folk music, cultural identity, social life. Yes, you have to give. It is asking you to discuss this statement, na?
Okay.
It has nowhere asked you to write the features.
I thought it is asking us to discuss the folk music.
Then also you have to give. I am also giving the feature only, na?
Okay.
But the language of subheading is different.
Okay.
My language of subheading is from the question itself. You have yourself created feature.
Okay.
But that is not directly asked. I'm not saying this is wrong, but it might give some other indicators.
Okay.
Similarly, here also the second aspect, you have written that the folk music recent development. Nowhere asked recent development. Right? So stick to the demand of the question.
Okay.
What question is asking a statement you have to take from there. Within that you can write them.
Okay.
Actually discuss one more point from his question I understood is that one aspect we could have mentioned is that there are some limitations also. And try to bring that limitation in almost all questions. Because that I have written in the next section. See, let's cover the next question, that is the Guptas. The second question was, the Gupta period in Indian history is often referred as the golden age. Golden age of India. To what extent is this characterization justified? So first is saying that it is considered like this. So do this characterization is justified or not? That you have to justify. So first, how I started, Gupta period between 300 CE to 600. Time period is given, established by Sri Gupta. Personality is given, termed as the golden period of India. Location is given. So period, personality, place. Three things is seen here, which I just now explained to you how we have to introduce. It can be here also. Clear? Are you able to see that? What I told you? Implemented. If I am able to do within that same time, can you do it? Yes or no? Yes, right? You have to do it. Then, such characterization is justified because, again, the language of the question. It's saying, is it justified? To what extent is it justified? Such characterization is justified in this way. Artistic excellence keyword is shown in the sculptures of Sarnath school. Literature diversity and depth shown in the Abhigyan Sakuntalam by Kalidas. Technological advancement like Aryabhatta Surya Siddhantika. Medicinal mastery like Susrut Siddhanta. I gave a small map of location, exactly what I saw. 3 points. Shown the Gupta. Clear? Next. Other points like temple architecture. I also made a small temple diagram. Value addition. Then political stability, economic growth, diverse art form, because it was asking about the history, not only about the art. So I brought the political, economic as well as the art forms. But since I know that mostly it is known as the golden period because of its artistic excellence, that's why I prioritize that based on my understanding. I could have written political first if it was like that, but I feel that based on my understanding of Gupta period, it is more because of the art forms. So that's why I prioritize that. Getting? Then here one value addition, small map. You saw that I drawn that stupa within 10 seconds, 10-15 seconds. Similarly, I have the practice to draw. So that's why I am able to do that. So you have to practice it, then you can make it within less time. Clear? Then lastly is that, however, there were limitations in such characterization. So it's not 100% because there are limitations. Here gave exaggeration by the writers. They try to praise the ruler. No? Then economic decline happened, limited to North India. Right? Cholas and those were not mentioned. No? Social evils like Sati was there. However, despite limitations, Gupta age is symbolic in cultural evolution of India. UNESCO rightly recognized its temple as World Heritage Site. Recently, they have recognized. I think they have made some factual error here. Maybe that is in tentative list. Maybe I'm not sure, but I wrote it. Maybe it's wrong, but they won't consider it's a huge mistake because they kept in the list of the tentative list. Okay, so you're getting what I'm trying to represent here is that whatever I explained to you, the dimensions are there or not? Similar? Are there those three? P is there? Map is there? Diagram is there? Article is there? UNESCO heritage site is there? Okay, those things only I explained to you just before. So this creates a reference for you. The same question you have written and same question the mentor is writing. Your answer, my answer. Compare what you can learn, what you can add, what more you can do. It's not like this is a perfect answer. More innovation, more creativity, more effective answer you can write. Like I made a mistake, I accept here. In the previous answer, like he mentioned, the folk music, there was one mistake is that I should have written at least two limitation of the folk music. That I missed. So that you have to add. Please note down. That is learning for me also. Yes.
When you ask me the question of the branding, so why is there necessity to write about the limitations?
Yes. See, when they are making the statements here, they made a statement that folk music is not merely a source of entertainment, reflect the cultural identity and social life of people. When it is saying that, do you think folk music really completely shows the social life and cultural identity? There are some limitations because some are extinct, some are having the religious or the social biasness, So they might not be the reflection of people who were that time considered as untouchables. Their stories have not been written properly in the folk music also. Because in the village area, there were also the social evils. Huh? So, do you think there are limitations or not? And when it is said that the discuss, rightly he point out, I really appreciate that point. Discuss. That means you should not say that yes, you are saying that it is important, but you should recognize that there are limitations. I don't see that this is completely able to represent the social life of people. There were people, section of the society which were excluded. Most of the time, women were not given the priority there, isn't it? In the folk music. So the point is, those basically not giving the 10 points, just 1 or 2 point recognition is important. But in the second question, it has clearly said to what extent. So there you have to give more emphasis. That's why you see the 4 points. But here not directly mentioned. But we will mention because we think like that. And discuss, it has said. If it is said elaborate, then just write that point. No need to give the other aspect.
So how to identify you have said that they have said discuss, then we have to write the limitations. So how we have to identify those keywords?
Okay. So let's do one thing. In the next session, we'll start with this keywords. I'll prepare one sample. We'll discuss every aspect with example. Which with if this keyword is there, what to write? If this keyword is there, what to write? Okay, tomorrow, because we are less time. Huh? Okay. Yeah, exactly. Same thing. Directives we'll discuss tomorrow. Elaborate, then what? Elucidate with, then what? Discuss, critically examine, evaluate, investigate. These all we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, time is. Anything else? So what you will do now is that using what understanding you got, you have to write those 2 answers, 2 questions. Okay, and you have to submit your paper to here. I'll evaluate. Okay, I'll see those answers. I want this improvement. Okay.